It's another edition of the Power Circuit, a program brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to inform you about its efforts towards advancing bulk power transmission. The program also projects the milestones of the power sector leadership towards delivering on the mandate of increasing access to electricity for all. Here are the stories lined up for your viewing delight. Minister of State for Power commissioned solar mini grid at Abuja's Karu Health Center. TCN officials visit Governor Masari of Katsina State, seek support for newly created Katsina Work Center. We'll also bring you a refresher on the mandate of TCN on the transmission mandate segment of this program. I am Chinwenwa Anyanwu, and we're glad you're staying with us. The Minister of State for Power, Mr. Godijedi Agba, has commissioned the first Volsas Solar for Health power mini-grid to energize the Karu Primary Health Center in Abuja. During the commissioning ceremony, Mr. Jedi Agba said the federal government was supporting critical initiatives towards providing access to electricity for health centers and for unserved and underserved communities, especially to fight the COVID-19 pandemic period. Our reporter completes the story.
The minister said his office supported Volsource Energy Limited, a local renewable energy and inverter-making startup firm, to flag off the program.
The federal government is committed to giving power to Nigeria, and we can demonstrate this by what we are doing here today. This administration is promoting mini-grid and renewable energy to increase access to clean, safe, and reliable electricity while accelerating the explanation of national power grids. But it requires the support of private sector to attain this most deliverable project, which is why Versus Energy has been the first to venture into this. We expect more private partners to participate in this so as to spread it nationwide. It is in this light that the federal government, to the Ministry of Power, supports Versus Energy Limited, a solar and renewable energy startup towards flagging off the first solar health care project commissioned here today in Cairo.
He said the project also comes with solar power refrigerators and cooling systems to preserve vaccines, especially at the time when the country was battling to flatten the COVID-19 pandemic.
At this point, when Nigeria is battling to flatten the COVID-19 transmission curve and to completely eradicate it, the federal government is supporting critical investments and infrastructure towards these goals. Reliable power supply is essential across healthcare facilities to increase the work pace of our time. I was informed that at the time, the Karachi Primary Health Center had suspended night shift activities because of epileptic power supply. Today, that is a thing of the past. I believe that this is now a thing of the past, and that with the first VSFH 12 kilowatt power solar mini grid supplied by this company with 58 kilowatt hour battery packs will totally eradicate darkness in this facility and in other facilities that will be spread across the country in a short while.
The managing director of the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, Ahmed Salhijo Ahmed, called for more private sector investments.
At the REA, we were fortunate enough to also carry out a very similar intervention in 4 isolation centers. One in Abuja, with the 53 kilowatt peak at the Abuja Teaching Hospital in Gwagwalada. Another one in the NCDC Center at Lagos. Another 2 in 2 isolation centers in Ogun State as well. So it's with this that I really want to commend Versus Energy for this tremendous feat.
The managing director of Volsource Energy, Engineer Tomiwa Bayo Ojo, said the firm was deeply concerned about the COVID-19 pandemic and the state of Nigeria's health facilities. He noted that the project, which will be replicated across other health centers, would promote the attainment of Goal 7 of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, on access to energy for all.
The company has continually observed the focal drive of this administration, especially in promoting the rural and community-based electrification as a means of boosting access to electricity in underserved and unserved places in Nigeria. The Honorable Minister of State has been in partnership with us since we started this project, and he has guided us. I'd like to thank you especially for that.
Engineer Bayo Ojo also spoke about the impacts of the fully funded private sector project.
This success story of Bolsa Solar for Health mini-grid is changing this situation. The narrative of service delivery at the primary healthcare center has changed, as the mini-grid is now providing 24-hour electricity to the wards, the labor room, the laboratories, and the entire building.
I, God is J.D. Agba, I'm privileged to commission this project. Thank you.
Officials of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, have paid a courtesy visit on the governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari, at the Katsina State Government House to seek more support for the newly created Katsina Work Center and other transmission projects.
The Regional Transmission Manager, RTM, of the Kaduna region of TCN, Engineer Aminu Haruna, who led the team on the visit while addressing the governor, said the TCN team was at the government house to inform the governor of the reforms that TCN was executing to improve bulk power delivery within the state. To ensure seamless interface between TCN and the distribution companies, Engineer Haruna said TCN recently created 2 work centers, one in Katsina and another in Taraba State.
Before the coming out of these work centers, our maintenance men used to come from Kano to carry out repair works in case of breakdown. But with the creation of Katsina Work Center, now the attendance to faults will be done instantly. Your Excellency, sir, under the newly created Katsina Work Center, we have 3 existing substations. We have the Katsina substation, which has 2 by 60 MVA transformers and 1 by 30 MVA transformer, making a total installed capacity of Katsina substation to 150 MVA. The second existing substation in Katsina is the Kaikia substation, which has 2 number 1 by 30 MVA transformers. The third one is in Daura, which has 2 by 40 MVA transformers. These are the existing substations that are working now in Katsina.
He also informed Governor Masari that under the new Katsina Work Center, there are 5 ongoing transmission projects that would boost bulk power evacuation within the state and its environs. Engineer Haruna also said TCN has proposed more power transmission projects in the state.
We have NETAP, which is the Nigerian Electricity Transmission Access Project. Under this NETAP is being funded by World Bank, and Katsina State is going to benefit from it, because under that project they are going to install 2 by 60 MVA transformers at Kankia.
In his remarks, the governor of Katsina State, Aminu Bello Masari, commended TCN for the initiative towards improving bulk power supply in the state. He pledged to support the company in the best way possible.
Written communication with regards to the issue of office accommodation. You mentioned it here, but I will advise you to write. So because it is on the basis of what you write to us that you can initiate action. And I'm sure through the office of head of service, we will be able to see how we can accommodate them before completion of their permanent office Once more, I thank you very much, and I hope the issue raised of that of Funtua Marshals is taken care of, because they are waiting for the consultant to submit a report.
After this break, we will feed you with more informative reports.
Do you know that vandalizing power infrastructure and stealing its components have negative impact on government's efforts towards improving the nation's power sector? Say no to vandalism. Vandalism leaves TCN with the enormous task of re-erecting and restraining damaged power transmission lines and towers, which cost millions of naira to rebuild. Money that should be used for transmission expansion projects to make increased bulk electricity readily available to electricity consumers through the distribution companies. Do you know that vandals are destroying our common national assets, funded with taxpayers' monies, and negatively impeding our common socio-economic progress? Say no to vandalism. Do not condone vandals, because stealing parts of electricity transmission towers and cables disrupts the transmission of generated power to distribution load centers, threatening the national grid, your comfort, and ultimately the nation's economic growth. So don't just walk away. Be involved. Do something when you observe suspicious activities around transmission installations or even vandals at work. Don't just walk away. Report to any transmission office closest to you or any security outfit around your vicinity. Say no to vandalism. TCN enjoins you to work with us to stop the willful destructions of our collective national assets as we work to transmit increased bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner. This message is brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. TCN, transmitting bulk electricity for national development.
As the Federal Ministry of Power, under the leadership of the Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, begins a robust restructuring program to deliver on its mandate and improve oversight of its agencies. Here is what you need to know about the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. The Office of the Minister released an infographic summary of the 7 agencies under the Federal Ministry of Power, where it also showcased the mandate of TCN.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has 9 core mandate items that it is delivering on in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NESI, under the leadership of the Managing Director, CEO, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz and his management team. These functions are thus to operate, expand and upgrade transmission facilities for efficient and effective wheeling of electricity, to build a transmission grid that can efficiently evacuate all generated power, create adequate network tendencies to ensure at least 99.9% reliability, reduce transmission losses to less than 5%, pursue interconnection with neighboring countries for power exchange with associate cost savings from the sharing of reserve capacity and energy resources, improve TCN's revenue base to ensure a self-sufficient and self-sustaining company, ensure that safety and environmental issues are managed to meet international standards, provide an effective project management system, provide standard capacity development of TCN staff for high-level performance. The management of TCN has reiterated its commitment to delivering on the mandate through the transmission enhancement program being implemented to the latter.
The Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, has held a workshop for staff members of the Project Implementation Unit, PIU of the TCN, who will oversee power transmission projects funded by the agency.
At the workshop, the General Manager donor-funded projects at TCN, Engineer Joseph Chiroma, said he coordinates donor-funded projects under 4 project implementation units, of which the JICA PIU is one of them. The transmission projects to be executed are between Lagos and Ogun State and will be financed by JICA.
It's one of the donor-funded projects, the JICA, that is Japanese International Cooperation Agency, that has decided to organize a training program in order to equip our young engineers, both male and female, to ensure that they understand the concept of collecting an international donor-funded project and how it can also be effectively utilized. We're going to be involving a lot of consultants. We're going to involve a lot of very big companies as EPC contractors. That's engineering, procurement, and construction. So they'll need to understand the concept.
Engineer Chiroma appealed to the JICA, the donor agency and trainer, to promote more training for the TCN officials during the implementation of the projects.
We told our engineers that we are starting at a very good foot for the fact that training and now retraining is something we need to continue to do right from the beginning of the project till after the project and even the post-supervision of this project. We want to appeal to our donors, which is JICA, that they should from time to time look at the kind of courses we shall continue to get our people trained so that we can have the best practice of delivering projects, not only in Nigeria, Africa, but in the world at large.
The project manager for JICA Project Implementation Unit, Engineer M.A. Ajibade, said the JICA Project Implementation Unit was overseeing the processes for the transmission projects, which are split into 4 components for the ease of execution.
They already been packaged into about 6 lots. So we have about 4 numbers, 330, 132, 33 kV substations, and they are expected to be at Likosi, Makogi, Ejio, and Ajegunle, very close to Agbara, around Lagos and Ogun State. The 2 number 132 substations are expected to be at Abule Oba behind Redemption Camp, while the second one will be at Badagry. So this project, will be interconnected, will be linked by 200 kilometers transmission lines.
The TCN official also spoke of the impact the JICA-funded projects will have in the entire national power system grid.
So this project, at the end of the day, is expected to enhance the socio-economic activities, within the 2 states. We all know that Ogun State, is one of the largest industrial park in Nigeria. So this project will go a long way to support the commercial and industrial activities, around that area. And also, the project is also expected to enhance the capability, the willing capability of TCN. At the end of the day, this project is expected to have about 2,886 megawatt capacity to Transmission Company of Nigeria.
The chief representative of JICA Nigeria office, Makiko Okumura, said the agency was happy working with TCN towards realizing the execution of the projects.
So we have been working with the TCN to realize this the project for the Lagos Ogun, the transmission expansion project. So this is a part of the large transmission expansion project of TCN. Our board was really happy for this project because this is the first Yen-Lon project after 28 years. So when we consider this, the huge needs in Nigeria.
One of the participants at the workshop and project coordinator, transmission lines and substations for the JICA-funded Lagos and Ogun transmission projects at TCN, Engineer M.S. Liman, said the workshop was timely for the in-house engineers of TCN.
It has come at a very good time where we need to be up and doing, especially in JICA procurement process. The essence of the training is that in a project, we normally have some problems here and there, but if you get the procurement process up and doing, I think the project will very well go in the direction we want at the time we want. So the impact of this project is to equip the JICA project unit on the processes of procurement in the JICA projects, especially the power sector. I think it's well ongoing and it's a good training. It has come at the time where we need it.
Another participant who coordinates the procurement section of the JICA Project Implementation Unit at TCN, Mrs. Pinda Ahmed, said she has been exposed to more knowledge on procurement processes at the training.
This training has exposed us to kind of JICA's rules and regulation. And being under procurement, really, it has exposed, or especially my department, to know how to undergo on this project, because without procurement, the project is kind of a flop. Any mistake we made, the project cannot go well. So with this training, at least it has guided us through JICA's rules and regulation and how to undergo our project.
Do not build under transmission power lines for your safety and health. Electricity power lines and substations, either for power transmission or power distribution services, are extremely dangerous when exposed to direct human contact. These power lines and substations transmit electricity that lights up our homes and offices, power our computers, TVs, and refrigerators. On the other hand, the same electricity, when exposed, is extremely dangerous. It can shock, electrocute, and kill anyone on its way. That is why everyone must adopt safety measures whenever we use or are close to electricity facilities like power lines or substation or transformers. For the safety of the people and animals, governments all over the world have approved way leave or right-of-way of 50 meters for 330 kV power lines and 30 meters for 132 kV power lines, and for 33 kV lines, the way leave is 15 meters. People are not expected to be found within this way leave or right-of-way for safety reasons. The lines can suddenly cut and fall to the ground with very disastrous consequences, such as fire and electrocution of anybody and destruction of anything, be it vehicle, houses, or vegetation on its line. It has also been established that power lines and substation emit electromagnetic fields, EMF, which is dangerous to human health. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that people who spend long hours under or close high-tension lines stand the risk of being affected by EMF and be vulnerable to cancer, leukemia in children, miscarriages among pregnant women, and other terrible diseases. It is therefore advisable not to build any structure or operate any business under or near any electricity high-tension lines or substations. TCN wants you to stay alive, stay safe, stay healthy, avoid power lines. This message is from the management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
As we sign out on this episode, let's take a look at the stories again. Minister of State Power commissions solar mini-grid at Abuja's Karo Health Center. TCN officials visit Governor Masari of Katsina State, seek support for newly created Katsina Work Center. Join us on the Power Circuit next week. Meanwhile, you can view this episode and the previous ones on TCN YouTube channel. Please interact with us on these platforms because TCN needs your support to advance its mandate. Coronavirus is real and tens of thousands have died globally. Please keep staying safe by observing the NCDC guidelines and all other measures announced by the authorities. I am Chiwenwa Anyanwu. See you next week.